It's that time again, time for daylight savings time. And the fire department of the Inland Empire would like to remind you to change the batteries in your smoke detectors. Dentists, meanwhile, think this is a good weekend to change your toothbrush. This may be a lot for one weekend, but KCAA thought we should remind you.
San Bernardino, Loma Linda, Rialto listens to KCAA Radio.
The doctor is in. Welcome to the Psychic Love Doctor Show with host Deborah Lee. Deborah has been practicing, teaching, and perfecting the personal prophecy card reading method for 20 plus years. This life-affirming, highly perceptive reading method has taught Deborah how to zero in on specific problems with relationships, career pursuits, and current roadblocks to success and happiness. This inspiring show will help you never feel helpless in life or love ever again. Now, here's your host, Deborah Lee.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm so glad to be here with all of you this fine Friday afternoon, depending on where you are, or Friday evening. I have my beautiful co-host Lauren sitting in with me.
Thank you.
And I also have a live audience, but later we're going to bring in something really special for all of you. So please hang in with us for the show, and please prepare to call in for your very own free on-the-air psychic reading. Now, this method that I use is not your typical tarot card reading, angel cards, oracle cards. I mean, there are cards like from one end of the spectrum to the other. All of these are extremely valid methods of perceiving the future. What makes my method so dynamic, I think, and I know, Lauren, you agree too.
I do agree.
Is that we are able to literally perceive your future while we're sitting in the present, and we can effectively and very successfully change that future before we even live it. And I find that to be really empowering. It enables us to not only understand more about what makes us tick, but what about the people that impact our lives? And these are the folks that are in relationships with us. Sometimes we often need advice and insight. Should we continue these relationships? Are these relationships that are worthy of the time and effort and energy that we're putting into them? So we bring you a little topic, this show that we're doing today, for those of you that might be wondering, well, if I can't get Deborah for a reading on the spot sometime, what would be signs? And you looked them up for us, Lauren.
Yes.
Signs that it's time to move on in a relationship. Now, in the meantime, I'd love to have you folks call in. The number to reach us during the show is 909-792-5222. So let's hear that phone start to ring.
Yes, and I think there's a lot of times when we have callers who call up and they're talking about all these problems in the relationship, and then they want to have readings about, well, do you think this person's is the relationship going to get better or worse? And sometimes I feel like, it's just time to move on, that they're wasting their time with people when some of these signs occur, too. One of them is, it says the number 11 is living in past memories more than the present. So, people saying like, oh, well, we used to be a great couple and we used to do all this stuff together. It's like, well, what are you doing now, right?
Right. And you can get caught up in that really quickly where you're thinking, why aren't I getting flowers anymore? Mm-hmm. Why doesn't he, bend over backwards and kiss my backside every time I need that?
I like getting my backside kissed all the time.
Me too. Some of us like doing it more than others.
Well, we got
about 3% of the population. All right, and then we have another sign here is when the relationship brings more pain than joy.
Well,
I feel like we have so many callers, and people in general, or I have clients that sit down and, they're talking about all of these problems. Somebody's, bad with finances, they're moody, and it just seems like thing after thing after thing.
It's really hard to let go And sometimes pain itself becomes the motivator to keep you in that rut of that relationship. And this is especially true. And we don't want to get real heavy on a, TGIF, let's get home, let's get ready to go out, let's party. But a lot of times domestic abuse will be at the core of a lot of that pain.
That will be. But I feel like, I'm like, and I've got clients too, and you can only say so much to somebody because you don't want to upset them, or, you know that they're not ready to move on. And we were talking earlier about, advice that we give friends, and sometimes it backfires. By the way, the phone number is 909-792-5222 for you to call in. But that relationship advice can backfire. But sometimes I'm looking at these people and I'm like, is this your child, or is this supposed to be your partner in life? What are they doing for you? Why are you with them? But with that, we're going to move on to a caller. We've got Danielle from Texas. How are you doing, Danielle, this week?
Hi there. Good to hear from you, hon. What is going on in your world this week?
I feel like so much has happened, but all good. Everything positive.
Wonderful.
Yes, I know it might
sound.
Yes, I know it might sound like something small, but it was kind of major to me. Isaac invited me to come have lunch with him on his lunch break this week on Tuesday. And that was really out of the ordinary for me. But it was pretty sweet. So that was pretty. That was something different, but positive.
Was it fun? Did you have a good time?
Yeah. Yes, we picked up nachos, and I picked him up from his work.
Very cute.
Danielle, as we've followed this with you for weeks now, what I'm seeing here is that he is really definitely starting to relax as far as feeling comfortable, where he's not so scared anymore. And then initially, I feel he was incredibly frightened of the feelings. These guys can be dragon slayers. They can be, the size of football players. And the thing is, love, emotion can scare the heck out of them. So I do feel that he is definitely relaxing around you, and now starting to show a little more of his own romantic side. I love that.
Yeah, so that was pretty positive.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that, and that you've been going with the flow. Now, I've got to tell you, he is wishing he made more money. I wanted to know what is making him tick right now. What's going on inside of him? So I found that little zipper that's at the top of his head, and I kind of unzipped it, and what I'm seeing is he wishes he had more money because he's starting to think about putting a ring on it.
Uh-oh. Dun, dun,
dun. Yeah. That makes me happy. I hope so.
Well, and what I'm saying, though, is to him as a man, they don't want to pick out some puny, cheap, well, I shouldn't say ass, but you know what I mean, a cheap. They want to put something beautiful on your finger. So if you guys ever get to talking, you could always say to him, find a way to work it in that you think it's wonderful when girls are able to accept, say, a piece of jewelry like an engagement ring that is like a promise of a better ring later on. So that might really...
and he knows that. He knows how I am. I'm not very materialistic. I like to enjoy, don't get me wrong, I love a big diamond, but a promise ring would be just as good. You know what I mean?
I agree. And why don't we leave the big diamonds to Jennifer Lopez and, Taylor Swift and all of the others out there? And why don't we just focus on the love and getting him to start to
love
focus
connection and just
it is.
The things that really matter. The things that really matter.
Well, you are starting to get him to the point where he's feeling real connection. Lauren, this is something you can relate to. You had basically a male roommate that was walking a bit of a same path, and you had to do a lot of the, I don't know what you'd call it, the door opening, the presenting the opportunities.
Well, not exactly. Exactly. Mine was like, oh God, he sometimes listens. But my husband was just very adamant. It was completely, normally I was the person that was always like, moving things forward and everything else. But with him, I don't know, I guess in a way, he just wouldn't go away. My husband wouldn't go away. And finally I was like, you're not going anywhere, so I guess, we can get married.
Oh, I might as well marry you.
But it's very nice. It's a good relationship.
But yeah, I'm glad to hear we're on the right track. Is there any advice you'll have, or any advice?
First of all, I would say, yes, be focusing on your intent for this relationship. In other words, use the law of attraction. See yourself. Envision him proposing. Envision yourself picking out a wedding gown. When we have these like little daydreams, we could call them, we're actually creating our own reality. So you want to picture that in your mind. It will help to draw that to you. Now, one thing I'd like to caution you is, I see that you could fall ill, nothing serious, but a very ill-timed case of the flu, something like that. So take good care of yourself, all right?
Okay, I will.
Although I feel he'll be bringing her chicken soup and
yes. Hey, what's going on with your jobs?
Oh, I haven't found a job yet. I'm still just enjoying school, and I'm gonna actually go away for spring break and visit some family. So, but I did want to tell Jeff that I did make pasta for Isaac the other week.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, that's great. You made pasta for Isaac. I love it.
Yes.
It's such a dish right there, It's the carbohydrates.
Yeah, we had pasta and wine at his apartment the other day, and I was like, I cooked. I need to tell them on the show.
Well, we love that you keep checking in, and others do. That's how we are able to really follow your situation.
Yes.
And there's more clarity that comes along. It's not a one-shot
definitely.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have a wonderful week, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Yay.
Okay, thank you so much. Y'all too. I appreciate y'all. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too, hon.
Happy Friday.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy Friday. Bye-bye.
Their continuated story.
Awesome.
I do. It's nice to follow these, callers and see how things develop.
I like it, and we've seen so much change between her and Isaac over the course of time. Now,
Give us another one.
All right.
Before we move on.
All right, before we move on, when he or she expects you to change,
It's never good.
I don't see this so much with callers. But I have seen this with clients where, somebody's like, well, he wants me to lose weight or something, or gives ultimatums, and that's never good,
Well, right, and one thing we women love to confide in each other is we'll say, oh, just wait till I marry him. Then he will change. I will make sure he changes.
That is not.
And I don't think that's what you should love a person for who they are, not who they may be, or the picture that you have in your mind.
Mine married me chubby. I'm going in reverse. One more right before we take this next caller. Is you keep justifying their actions to yourself, and they're causing you emotional, physical, like we were talking about before, a lot of those things, you're just not going to be able to change that, and you gotta drop it sometime, right, Deb? You gotta fold the card.
Well, you have to think to yourself, what's my end game here? I mean, am I going to just sit here and make excuses for this immature man that I'm with who can't hold a job, or he's a lousy father, or blah, 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 and vice versa with a guy who's constantly catering to a woman who can never be happy.
Yeah.
And we know these women. We've met them.
It's time for you to move on to a relationship that'll disappoint you in new and exciting ways. So moving forward, we have Elizabeth from Massachusetts.
Hi,
Hello there, Elizabeth.
Hi, I've called in before. Do you remember Jeff from the Jack and Jill party?
Yes,
a few
we
months
do.
ago. Yeah, well, there's really been nothing going on, and back around Christmas time, I just kind of decided I'm going to kind of just do my own thing and see what he does. And he really hasn't made any effort, so I'm kind of like, you know what? I think I'm going to just back off and not make the effort because, you know, kind of spinning my wheels and not really seeing a lot from him. So I'm curious what you see, kind of what's going on his end of things.
Oh,
I'm kind of like, you know, like moving on and trying to process and just kind of, you know what, maybe it's time to think, you know, maybe there's somebody else out there for me.
absolutely.
I like your thinking.
Yeah. You have live audience with us here today, too, so they're going to be chiming in as we go along.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just curious kind of to see, you know, what you see on you know, the bigger picture.
All right.
How long has it been since you've had any kind of contact with him?
I haven't really seen him, like, physically in person it's almost 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And there hasn't been a whole lot of activity going on, you know, as far as Facebook. Once in a while he'll like one of my posts, but he doesn't, like, message me. Like, I used to message him and just check in and say, hey, how you doing? But he doesn't seem to reciprocate that kind of effort. So that's why, you know, I'm into kind of, like, you know, protecting and healing myself. So back around Christmas time I said, you know what, I'm going to just back off and kind of see what happens and see how it plays out, but continue just to work on trying to, like, improve myself and my life.
And you clearly gave him enough room and enough chance.
Yeah.
And you've done enough to try to welcome him through the door of opportunity to get to know you better and all. And you know what I've got to say here is it appears that some woman from his past has returned. She's trying to get him to re-engage with her.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I'm hearing him say intuitively, he doesn't want to get you all tangled up in something that he can't even find his way out of right now.
Oh,
okay.
Interesting. Okay.
The audience here is nodding, and I think they know, you know, that he's just not in a place to move forward. Okay. But that's his choice.
Mm-hmm.
And your choice is that you need to move forward yourself and find an active, you know, blood pumping specimen to date and get involved with.
Reciprocation.
Yeah, reciprocating your interests. Because I feel he'll return. Definitely, I feel he'll come back, but in the meantime...
Oh, you mean Jeff will come back?
Yes.
Are you like going to the gym at all? Anything like that? Are you able to?
Am I doing what?
Are you able to, like, work out or go to the gym or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, no, I do. Yeah.
See, I think that's, like, I just started going. It's been 9 weeks, but I will say, you know, I'm married, but I go there, and I feel like it's really, like, the confidence that you get from, like, going and feeling good. I would just focus on things like that, like what Deb said. And I think that, you know, you'll probably move on.
Well, I also think there's a very strong potential for a very desirable man around your home where you're living. I'm not sure that he's actually moved in yet within the vicinity, but I am perceiving the two of you are going to bump into each other.
Really?
Hey.
Yeah, and this could, yeah.
Are they going to bump into each other? Or are they going to bump into each other?
That's what I was thinking.
I think there's a lot of bump in here. I really do. So you might want to keep that in mind. He's got a very caring heart. He reminds me of my husband who's passed away. He was a King of Hearts also. And while he was this... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying interesting.
Well, my husband was a rough and gruff sailor in the Navy, and he ran his men like they were his minions, you know. At home, he was soft as a teddy bear. In fact, he collected them. He'd cry at chick flicks. I mean, this guy was all heart, and that's what I'm seeing here.
Interesting.
And I feel that you will be actively dating him when Jeff
shows back up
Yeah.
again, because that's what they always do.
They always do, don't
when you're
they?
all happy and like getting
Interesting.
everything together, then they're like, "Hey, how's it going?"
I
And
have
that's
to,
when you can
I have to ask you, Elizabeth, a question way off the grid here. How do you feel about having children?
I have a son that's 25. Why?
Well, I'm seeing very distinct indications here of a little girl coming into your life. Now, this
Really?
could be, yes, and it doesn't look planned. So you may want to bear that in mind. You know, women are having babies later and later
Oh,
now.
because I've already gone through menopause.
But then what I'm thinking is this could come either through the man in her life, or this could be a child the two of you would undertake together. And it's
Interesting.
very
Oh.
unplanned right now. So I thought I'd
Oh.
mention that there's going to definitely be a little girl in your life. Now you have a son, right?
Yes.
And is he actively involved with someone?
He just broke up with a woman who actually has a daughter that is 6 that I used
Okay.
to take care of when they were together. I actually used to spend a lot of time with her.
Oh, well,
I wonder if that's what you're saying.
no, I still think it's
something
different. He could end up having a baby with somebody else, and that's how the baby comes to your doorstep. It's
Oh,
through as
interesting.
grandchild.
Oh, wow.
That would
Okay.
be fun.
Yeah,
no?
so we'll keep our eyes on that. Keep your
Yeah.
good attitude, Elizabeth.
All right,
This
thank
guy-
you.
You know, he really should have made hay while the sun was shining with you, because he's
Well,
really
that's
sorry.
what I'm thinking. I keep feeling like, you snooze, you lose, pal.
Mhm.
Right.
And, and like you said, I really gave him plenty of opportunity,
Yeah.
and, clearly, was receptive and interested, and he just kind of,
Yeah.
kept on his merry way. So that's interesting, though, that he's got somebody from the past, though, that has returned.
Yes,
I'm
that-
very interested. Yeah.
She wants to rekindle. I'm not sure that he is. I'm seeing that he has a bit of a spirit that is, like, willy-nilly, or how would you put this? He's,
Flaky.
yeah, kind of a flaky spirit.
Yeah, he's like a little, sort of like a little Peter Pan. He's never been married, never had any kids, but he works hard, and then he, has his own like little plane, and he goes off on little trips with his little plane, and yeah, he's like a little Peter Pan syndrome.
So he's just happy playing with himself,
Yeah,
so to speak. So to speak.
exactly.
Self-love's the best love sometimes. You've got a way with words there,
Sorry
Deb.
about that.
That's so funny. But that's interesting that you're seeing that Jeff is going to try and return.
Yes, I do feel so, and I do think you've got a new neighbor coming along, and this is going to be a very fun relationship for you.
Oh, good. That sounds good. I'm ready.
It's going to be a good summer. Just start getting yourself focused on that. You're going to have a great time this summer.
Oh, good. That's good news. Thank you.
All right, hon. Well, thank you, and please call us again.
I will. Thank you so much.
You.
Have
All
a good
right.
night. Bye-bye.
Oh, boy. Do you have another one of your little tips for us?
Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. I believe. Let's see.
Oh, wait. Why don't you hold for a minute here? We're going to do a quick station identification, and then we have something very special for you.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
We are back. This is the Psychic Love Doctor Show. We are taking calls for free readings during the show, but we're going to pause for a little segment here. You will not believe what you are about to see if you are on Facebook, watching us on the Facebook Live show page, or what you're going to hear over the airwaves. We have managed to get our chef on call, Kyle. He is actually channeling Julia Childs, and we're going to turn to him right now.
Hello, and welcome to the French Chef. Today, we'll be doing crepes and all types of ways imaginable. The first thing you have to do is 1 cup of flour with half a cup of water, some butter, and eggs, of course, and and put it into the pan for me, will you?
I will.
Yes, that's a way to, but that's okay because butter is always good to move the batter. And we're going to move that around into the pan, and we're going to start our crepes, just like this here. All right, we'll take the bit of plate back, please.
Okay. Oh,
Bring the plate. Yes, there we are.
There you
We'll
are.
put the plate down.
Okay.
We'll put our butter in, and then we're going to create our crepe batter, which will have the recipe online, available on the Facebook page of the Chef on Call. And we take a little bit of our crepe batter just like this, and we spread it around. You have to spread it, for if you don't spread it, Lord, what happens is that it will be too thick as a crepe, and crepe should be thin. So we'll put our batter aside, and we have the fillings ready to go, as you know. Right, so here we have our crepe, and it's going to get nice and brown on one side, and we'll flip it over.
Yes.
Right, so to fill the crepes, you open the crepe like so, just like this, and I have a caramel sauce we made earlier today, and you can always refrigerate it. As you know, and refrigerate it, so a little bit of the caramel sauce in there, and of course some strawberries. Who doesn't like? What's the French called le fraise?
I like
So some strawberries and some blackberries, of course.
Yes.
There's like that in there. And this here is called the creme diplomat. Can you say that, Lauren? Creme diplomat. Yes, of course.
Diplomat.
Creme diplomat. And we open up the container, and of course we forgot the spoon. So we use our butter knife and butter spreader, and just a small smidgen like that. And we fold it up ever so gently, like this, and we serve it on the plate in order to look nice and delectable and delicious. So I'll show you how we flip it over. So we take our little spatula here and flip that, like so, and it should be nice and look at the color. You don't want to develop too much color. What do you do? It's overcooked. Yes. And so now we let that cook for a little bit longer, only 30 seconds more, and we take it out of the pan like that there. All right, so we put a little bit out. What do you want to put in it? The caramel sauce.
Yes.
Yes, the caramel sauce. And we put that in just like that, just a little bit, because too much would be too. And strawberries, of course. Because who doesn't like strawberries? Or what are they called by the French again? Le fraise! There we are! And then we have l'honneur! L'honneur!
What was that, Julie?
L'honneur!
L'honneur!
L'honneur! Which are the blackberries, and we have creme diplomat, which we put in there. These are the fat crepes, just in case you didn't know. And we fold it over ever so lightly and delectably. And of course, you know, my dogs. I have 4 dogs, and they all are all over the place, and they all just enjoy themselves. And we enjoy that with a glass of vermouth or white wine. Thank you for joining us on The French Chef. I'm Julia Child, and we'll see you next week. Mwah!
Well, I, for one, found that really riveting, yes, as our resident chef on call, Kyle, was able to channel Miss Julia. I almost said Roberts. Miss Julia Child.
Julia, what big eyes you have!
So I hope you enjoyed that, and I bet we will be channeling her again in the future. So, what shall we do now? More. We want calls, people. Let's get some calls.
We have more calls. I think we have coming up. We have Kim from New Jersey. If she's on there, Kim, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yay! How are you?
How'd you like that?
Good. How are you?
Hello.
How are you doing, Kim?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
We are fantastic. We learned how to make some crepes over here, and who knows.
Cool.
All right. Well, I know that we are all just kind of really verklempt.
A little bit, yes.
From this last segment, but we will get the cards all hot and bothered for you, Kim. So if you would like to give us a little idea of your situation, the question you would like us to address with your reading, we're all ears.
Well, I was kind of wondering, like, about my abilities. And, you know, like, I've been frustrated lately, so, like, I was wondering, like, what can I do or what should I do? What should I focus more on? Is there... I don't even know what I can do exactly.
First, do you enjoy your work, Kim? Do you enjoy what you do?
Absolutely.
Well, that's good, because a lot of people that feel frustrated and don't know what to do with themselves are not living a very satisfying existence. So it sounds like you really enjoy your job. Now, I'm wondering, if you had a magic wand, what would you like to make happen for you? Of anything that you could do in the world.
I would love to find my husband and have a house and have my own animal rescue, and then I could use my abilities to help other people with like animals and people and stuff.
Are you attuned to what your true gifts and talents are? Do you know what your abilities make you capable of?
I think maybe, I wasn't sure, but maybe I have like everything maybe. And then I really do a lot of animal communication, and then I would love to do missing pets, but it's kind of like frustrating. And when I really want my abilities to work, it doesn't work. And when it's just like not really, I'm just doing like a regular thing, then it's fine. But when I really want them to work, it doesn't work.
Well.
Well, it seems like the animals are trying to communicate with you right now. The dog said something to you. So when do you feel like you're most attuned to your abilities? Is it when you're not focused on them?
That's a good
question. Yeah, that's a good question. Probably. Like when I'm really, really relaxed, and then like, you know, when I really want to do like a good reading or something, like I feel sometimes like I feel like pressure, and I'm scared to be wrong. And so then I'm just like, then just me being scared to be wrong just kind of takes over.
You know,
and it doesn't work.
I hear you, Kim, so well, because this has been something I've had to struggle with when I first started doing these readings back in 1982. I was afraid of being wrong too. But what you need to do is find a way to have faith in your own abilities, is what we're basically looking at here. You definitely are extremely talented, and one thing I want to let you know is the fear of being wrong is not what your cards translate it to be. Your cards are saying actually that if you really tap into this, the floodgates are going to open, and I think you're going to fear all that incoming psychic and intuitive information, the empathic side of you. You have to learn how to have boundaries. And Lauren's nodding. She's highly empathic herself. So it can be frightening and traumatizing to all of a sudden have so many messages and the energy coming to you.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
Yes.
You know, I imagine that it is very much like anything, really. You know, I'm a hairdresser, and when I first started, I had these, you know, I didn't want to mess up someone's hair. And you're with anything, you're not going to be, you know, perfect with it when you first start out. And there really is that thing, like sometimes when you concentrate on something too much, you know, and you're focused in, you do things naturally. And even me with cutting hair, when I'm like just looking at it and I'm thinking about what do I really think is going to look good, then things go well. So is there a possibility, like, could you maybe do some non-pressured readings? Like, you know, just casually, like maybe go, I don't know how you go about those, but maybe go to a dog park or something and maybe like try to feel out what's going on, or, you know, in situations where you're not going to feel that pressure. And then when you maybe have something where somebody's coming to you, try to figure out how to relax. And
I think you're making some really good points here. I do feel that once you trust yourself more and more, Kim, and remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither are we when it comes to being able to exercise these truly extraordinary gifts that I feel definitely come from the higher power of the universe, however you wish to feel about all that is. So you are going to do some marvelous work. I feel that it could take you a good 5 years. I feel that you're going to start to, you should at least start to consider looking at various methods that are available, and a lot of it is free on the internet. See what really resonates with you. And
I do
allow
really good
it.
with like picture readings.
You do. I'm
yeah,
hearing
like
that you would be fabulous as a Reiki master. Have you studied any Reiki?
I haven't, like, a couple people said I was a healer, but then, like, I was worried maybe, like, if my energy was off or, like, if I had anxiety, I was afraid maybe I'd do something wrong. But then they said that you can't, like, do anything. You can't really do anything wrong. You can't
No, when
really...
you're working with energy, you really can't. You become the vessel, and the energy flows through you, and that's where the healing lies. So I really feel it's just a matter for you to take the journey of learning to trust yourself, have faith in yourself, and remind yourself, as they said, you can't do this wrong.
No, and I hate to keep bringing up, like, you know, I'm a hairstylist, and sometimes when people are talking to me, I might have a terrible day where I'm like, oh no, I don't want to talk to another person, and sometimes somebody sits down in my chair, and whatever they're feeling or they're going through always trumps my own feelings. It doesn't matter how exhausted I am, whatever, I might be afraid that I'm going to be like that, but someone's going through a breakup or someone's going through a loss, because you're a naturally caring person and empathic and whatever other gifts, those are going to come through because those are gifts, and I don't think you're going to mess those up.
No, and also the things that you mentioned at the start of your call, where you said that you dream of a home and having your own rescue. I'm seeing it bigger than that. I feel it's going to be kind of I don't want to use the word compound, but I feel that it's going to be an extension of your home and a beautiful relationship to be shared with a partner that is every bit as committed as you are. And having that approval and that support from somebody else really does help so much. But I feel you're going to expand your work.
I'm trying to, like, I'm single still, so if I could find a husband and we could build that together, that would be great, because that's actually exactly what I kind of wanted. I kind of wanted, like, you know, like my own house, and then have like an extension of the house for like the rescue. That's what I always wanted.
Well, I always sound like, I think I'm like secretly like some sort of women's lib person, but I'm gonna say, you know, whatever you want, you can't wait for somebody else to build that, even though that may be in the cards for you. You know, start building those things now. Start dreaming them now. Don't be limited. That person may come into your life, but visualize it, you know, with someone certainly, but visualize what it looks like now with you. You know, I thought about before, if I won the lottery, I'd be perfectly, you know, content. Not everybody is, but you know, what would that look like with somebody, and what would that look like without somebody?
Well, I see a great effort of people coming together through volunteer organizations. What I am perceiving for you, Kim, is really quite huge. It's going to take you to another location. You're in New Jersey, right?
Yes.
Well, I think this is going to take you, I feel it's to the other coast, like from where we're broadcasting from. It would be a mountainous area, lots of wildlife. And what I feel it's going to be coming out of would be, say, a camp for children, like a children's camp that's now shut down. It's no longer working, but it would be through something like that. And I feel that you could really offer quite a bit to those that are, say, coming out of prison or out of different rehabs that need a rehabilitation. Yeah, it'd be a rehabilitation for both rescue animals, for, what are those ones called that wear the little jackets? Support, service dogs. I mean, I am seeing a multifaceted vocation for you. So I hope this gets you going. Yeah, let your mind just run free. Let it be a movie that plays in your head where you can have anything you want. Envision that beautiful home. It looks like a gorgeous log home, by the way, to me. And there's rolling fields. There's beautiful trees. There's outbuildings from this previous camp that children, and it could be a church camp. It's not necessarily a school camp, but it was something of a camp that is now basically non-working. It's like abandoned, but it's going to land in your hands. I would not be surprised. The true husband and soulmate she will find is involved in the gaining or obtaining of that property.
If you build it, they will come.
I've heard that.
That would be awesome. I mean,
yes.
like right now I'm kind of like broke all the time, so I couldn't afford it. Like I only have my apartment right now, but maybe like soon, hopefully, maybe I'll get more work with animals and be able to do more.
Kim, I'm living my dream. If you would have told me back in 1980, I was born and raised in a tiny town in northern Minnesota, where literally it's a one-industry town, and there was no future for people up there. If you told me you're going to be out in beautiful Virginia Beach, you're going to be on the air, you're going to be helping people, you're going to have an office, I would have laughed like a loon. Because it was my dream, but I didn't think I could achieve it. And I'm in the middle of it. So if I can have my dream, you can have yours. It's amazing how all of a sudden doors will open. Sometimes we don't even have to go and start knocking on them. They just find us.
Absolutely.
So this is, for now, I think that your homework should be work on building your own faith in yourself. Mm-hmm. Work on, right? The audience is nodding. Get trust in the fact that you can do this. And dabble in some different little things that are virtually free or very low cost that are out there. Lots of free metaphysical and healing courses are out there. There's a place, I don't know if I'm going to say it right. Udemy. Udemy.com.
Udemy.com.
Yeah, you can pick up little classes there for $10.
Oh, cool.
And a lot of them. Yeah, and also look into Coursera. That is free. It's a conglomeration of big-name universities like Yale and Princeton and a bunch of them that are offering free courses to the public in a wide variety of disciplines and, passions, I guess you could say. So I believe you're going to make this happen. Now it's up to you to believe the same.
I keep trying to do like the laws of attraction and always trying to think positive. So I tend to think a whole lot. So,
well, right now, being broke, you got to get rid of using that term. And I hope others are listening too. I've been there, but you can't focus on the lack. You have to focus on the fact that there will be abundance. Right now, my funds are limited, but they're going to, become increase. Yes. They're going to multiply. It will come. I see it. You could say I see a check coming to me in the mail. I see opportunities coming for me, and you have to focus on that you actually have the power to make anything happen within the framework of your life.
Absolutely.
I believe that now. Like you can speak things into existence and think things into existence and stuff. So I've been really trying that.
Absolutely, and you can't. And can you think things into existence? Like I feel like your thoughts are.
Oh yes, energy follows thought. Kim, I would love for you to send me a private message. I want to send you a free copy of my book. All right, I think it could give you some real support and insight, encouragement.
It's a great book.
Well, thank you.
It really is, Kim. It's awesome. She's a wonderful writer.
Sure, you bet. Because I just want you to know this is something you can. It's a calling on your life. Is realistically what it is. You can make this happen. So anybody out there, I think so. Anybody out there that's living a dreary existence, who feels like you're never going to get ahead, you're always going to be flipping burgers, whatever the case might be, dream those dreams. They have life. Actually, one of my sons came to me some years ago and he said, "Mom, I'm wondering, is all of this real? Is everything about us, is the world real?" He said, "Because if it isn't real, can't we make it whatever we want it to be?" And I said, "Zach, there it is. You nailed it. You can make your life whatever you want it to be."
Absolutely.
So, on that note, Kim, send me a private message. You can either do it through Facebook or you can do it on my email, Deborah, DEBORAH, at psychiclovedoctor.com, and I will send you a copy of my book.
Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for calling, and I hope that you will stay in touch with us and let us know how things are going.
I definitely am. I definitely am. It's really nice of you guys to do this.
We love this. And we love when people call in because otherwise we'd be just sitting here staring at each other, right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for calling, Kim.
Oh, thanks so much, Kim. And you watch. Life is going to change for you.
Thank you very, very much.
All right, hon. Thank you.
I love when she's called in before, right? Yes. I love her voice. She always makes everything sound so exciting. Like, I'm excited.
She has a very exuberant and effervescent spirit.
And I'm really excited about this whole camp thing, maybe.
And wouldn't it be nice, like, this is how things happen. Somebody out there in California or New York, they could be hearing it and saying, kind of really like this girl's vision.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here with all this money.
And all this, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, could be a celebrity, could be just a corporate benefactor. I mean, wouldn't that be awesome, though, to have such a healing place where dogs can be rescued? Like especially ones that have been neglected and abused.
We need that out here.
We do.
Yes, absolutely.
What also, she could be rehabbing people, you know, that are trying to integrate back into society. She could take, you know, a lot of people that go to prison really do turn their lives around.
Yeah.
And getting a new, fresh start is so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a really good call. We still have a few minutes, folks.
909-792-5222 is the phone number. Now, moving on, so we know when we're supposed to get out of a relationship, but what about the things that are said, like when either we say it to people or people said to us, when a relationship ends, ridiculous things get said.
It seems like everybody falls back on that age-old excuse. It isn't you, it's me. Well, if you think about it, yes, of course it is you.
Yes.
And not them, because you're the one that wants to end the relationship.
Yes, they wanted to be with you before, but now they don't.
Yes.
And the worst people are in relationships. You know, there's always that, well, I want to work on myself, and it's really myself. There are terrible people in relationships right now with things. So what do you say? You think it's a time for self-reflection then, not to fall into that pitfall of like being like, well, I think it is them.
Well, one thing I have noticed typically, and I hate to come down on men and dog you this way, but I think a lot of you can relate in your own relationships with other guys, like buddies. They fall back on making life miserable for that woman so she will be the one to leave. Instead of saying, hey, my heart isn't in this anymore, I'm really sorry, you know, but we're going to have to call it quits, because something about that puts the fear of God into them.
Maybe they have the fear of God in their car getting keyed or their tires getting
smashed,
or paint poured out of the interior of their
Part
car.
of me also thinks that's an antiquated way of looking at it. I think that in today's modern society, we're all adults. If you are an adult, now there are some that aren't. Excuse me. But if you're an adult, take that information that I don't want to be with you no more and move along.
Trouble is, it raises so many issues of abandonment from childhood. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we have lived through as a child that we are now still dealing with at certain times because of certain situations we're in. But I think the guy behind the camera really said the fear is about the retaliation.
Fear she's going to break out her broom and bring the hell, fury, and wrath of Satan down upon you.
Well, and
because she got rejected. Because you didn't get along with her.
There is, however, a woman in our audience tonight who had a very upsetting breakup, and she not even showed up with his car all nicely cleaned. She showed up with all of his clothes nicely folded and you know, put into suitcases for him.
Ran.
And I thought that
in.
showed such a deep amount of class and grace. Here her heart was broken, literally broken, and she stood there and sobbed into the arms of her later to become, not, I don't know how to put this, ex-father-in-law. But that was, I think, what, I mean, we women, come on, we got to show some restraint. Have you ever done anything evil, Lauren?
Yeah, let's get a lie detector machine out here, first of all.
I mean, I'm sure I've done things that aren't very nice.
I threw eggs on an ex-boyfriend's beautiful brand new car.
Who is this? And they wonder why guys are like they are.
And I regretted
I never
it.
threw shit on any woman's car, stuff on any woman's car or anything like that.
I don't know. I don't think I've done anything terrible. Nothing too bad. I do things that are like passively aggressive, not nice.
Nope. I'm a man of few words. Once in high school, the girlfriend I had, right? She was out there, a couple of my buddies caught her cheating. Called up one of my buddies and said, be quiet on the phone, I want you to see how you handle this situation here. Called her up, and I said, nothing at all. I let the tension mount. I love sitting in that. That's fun for me. And she ended up saying, I know what you're calling about. And I'm sorry. I said, no, sorry's not going to handle that. You should have been sorry beforehand.
You know, high school is a long way back. Maybe we should try to be a little bit more mature in our relationships. Another one that always gets me is the one of, you deserve better. There'll be somebody new for you. You deserve better. That guy was a loser, or that girl was a...
What? Yeah. What else can you say though, Deb? I mean, where are you gonna say, "Hey, listen, think your last ship sailed"?
But the problem is, 90% of people do get back together. There's this thing called the breakup before the breakup. So then now you're the bad guy.
Right. Yeah, I've learned. That's where I try to stay out of things. I won't stay out of things completely. You know, feel bad. You know, try to make your friend feel better. But I definitely try to stay away from saying terrible things about that person because of that reason. I have had friends that haven't talked to me for years.
Well, I think that's really admirable to be that way. If only we all could take. We could take rejection and being dumped easier.
But the best way to handle rejection or being dumped is being more fabulous than you were before.
Oh, it is.
That's like how to, yes.
And if you have to go to an event where you know that ex is going to be there, you can always hire an escort to go in on your arm, and you are then like totally jaw-droppingly stunning.
I'm glad that we are supporting kind of prostitution.
Oh my gosh.
No, just somebody that will look good. We don't have to actually.
You can't wallow. The bottom line is, if you are ending a relationship, you can't wallow. You can't live in what used to be. You have to move forward, and it can be really hard to do that. But the quicker that you decide, yeah.
Well, the thing is, you're going to look back after time passes and think, oh, what was I thinking? So anyway, everybody, we have to leave you on that note. The lights are going to get shut off here. They're going to draw the curtains, and we are going to have to head out the door. But see us next week. Come and listen. We are on at 7 p.m. Eastern on Friday and 4 p.m. Pacific time. If you want, you can always put us on your Facebook, on your phone, but be careful when you're driving. Don't let us,
Don't get any prophecies while you're driving. Not safe.
So take care, everyone. Let's see, Wendy. Oh, thank you, my darling.
You're welcome.
To Lauren as my co-host. Thank you to Julia, who was channeled by...
Thank you for having me. It's been a great time, I tell you. I've been over here making the crepes
and
this entire time.
Thank you to my audience here and my audience there. Take care. We will see you next Friday. Have a fabulous week. Mwah.